Ready?
Yep.
Oh, I'm in the wrong. There we go. Hi.
Hi.
We're here.
We
Yes.
made it.
We had some I gotta mute this. We had some technical issues, but we're here. Always something. Always something.
Your screen is green.
For you, not for the audience.
Oh no. I don't get a nice shot of it.
Well,
Let me pull it up in my app so I
all it
can see what it
is
looks
no
like.
background. I have no background. Like that's it. It's just green. Like there's nothing.
Let's see. Oh, I see. I see. I can see it on here.
Yeah.
That looks pretty cool.
So
Oh,
welcome in everybody.
very
I'm gonna make that a little
fancy.
bigger.
I was
What?
like, does he know he doesn't have a background?
I could put something in just for you, but actually, I think I have something in there I can put just to have something. Hold on.
Oh, it doesn't
Hold on.
matter.
There it is.
But
I,
thank you. Now I have a better view.
hold on. I gotta move it though. It's in a weird spot.
It's
Wait, why won't
right.
you? Come on. Why you do this?
Yeah, this is pretty much how it's gone. We logged on like over half an hour ago,
There.
and it's
Now I
been
have a
more than half an
background,
hour.
so it's not as weird.
I love that. Thank you. I
Except
feel
I'm
better.
kind of covering you with it, so let me make it smaller. There. Okay.
Make it smaller.
As I
Cover
cover
my.
you completely with it.
That
I was just gonna put you in. I was just gonna put myself in the background of your video. I think that would have been funny, but I didn't.
would have been funny.
Okay. Welcome everyone to LOMHOT.
Welcome.
After I was looking it up, February 8th was our last episode. So it has been,
Aw.
yeah, it has been a minute.
I guess that makes sense because we missed the
we
one we
we
were
do
into
it
2 weeks,
bi-weekly and we
and
missed
then we missed because
two,
of
so
COVID,
that's
and then
yeah.
yeah. So here
Uh,
we are. We're back.
we're back. Thank you, Old Paint, for saying it looks perfect? Question mark.
Question
Um,
mark.
yeah. So Old Paint, just for your reference, her camera works perfectly now, but then her mic doesn't work now for some reason.
Yeah, for whatever reason, it
So
wasn't
now,
working on there.
so now
So
she's on Cody's again.
here we are.
We are also live on YouTube for the first time ever, so that I don't have to do two separate uploads. So that's
Yeah,
fun.
that is nice.
So if you want to watch on YouTube, it's at LOMHOT on YouTube. So that's fun.
Excellent.
I did share it on Facebook. I like the link to it for those who wanted to watch
Oh,
there. So anyway, today we decided in today's episode we are going to well, first of all, let me start before we get too far. How
yep.
are you? It's been
Yep.
a month.
Oh yeah, it's been a month. I did
Mm-hmm.
see you about 2 weeks ago, luckily.
Right, but like
But we can
public
pretend.
public eye,
In the public, nobody was
what's
watching.
new? What's new in the public eyes is the question.
I got COVID,
You did.
which apparently is still happening.
What do you mean?
It's 2023, and it's
Oh,
still
yeah,
it's
apparently
really still
COVID's
sticking
not
around.
yeah, it's
So
not gone as many would like to believe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that happened,
Mhm.
and then I went to Florida
Nice.
after COVID.
After COVID, right? Not
My quarantine was ended. I had a day, and then I got on the plane.
and somehow you managed not to get COVID again, so that's nice.
I'm immune now.
Oh,
So
is that how it works?
90 day.
Oh
You get
shit.
like a 90-day immune period.
Okay. What's
I
I
don't know how exact that is, but that's what they say.
what's ironic is Pesky like just got her booster shot like right after you were here, I think, or right
Yeah.
before you were here.
I didn't give it to anyone, as far as I know. So we made it out.
Yeah, that was the weird thing. None of us caught it. Like I tested,
Yep.
Pesky tested, both our parents tested. Nobody had it. So
Weird. Weird.
very strange.
But then we went to Florida,
Yep.
and then we came back to a freeze warning here in Nashville. So
Good lord.
yeah. Still better than what you guys have, though.
Yeah, we have a lot. We
That
have so today was actually 43, which is a heat wave for us.
is nice.
So
Yep.
but then tomorrow I'm working from home because there's a snowstorm. So
Good
that's just
Lord.
yeah.
The 50th snowstorm of the year.
Literally, my coworkers said there's been 45 snowfalls or whatever. So 50 is not that
I just
exact.
picked
Yeah,
a number.
not that big as an exaggeration as you thought.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, how have you been? What have you been up to? Tell us.
Let's see. I didn't get COVID.
You're welcome. Close call.
I've been clearing a lot of snow, a lot of snow.
I'm
constantly.
posting us on Instagram.
I
Continue.
was gonna just I should have been marketing while you were talking too. I didn't even think of that. But anyway, but I
This way I don't have to listen to you.
exactly. Um, but no, I don't know. It's always something. It feels like we don't do anything, and yet there's always something going on. So like, I did an
Yeah.
impromptu long stream on Friday that kind of took off, and now I have a bunch of subscribers that I have to answer to. So that's fun.
Yeah, you were it was like 11 hours or something,
11
wasn't it?
hours. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so let's talk about what happened on
Well,
your stream and
well.
what's about to happen.
So basically, I've had a sub goal for a while of 69 subs, and once that was met, once that was
Nice.
once that was met, the what I would have to do is Pesky on stream would straighten and then braid my hair, and the goal was set to end on St. Patrick's Day, and we were only at about 24 as of the morning of Friday, of the
Okay.
69, and
Yep.
then I streamed in the morning like I normally do. It was a little bit later than normal, but I'd still, you know, and then I got hype trains and subs and bits and turned into an 11-hour stream, and then we proceeded to get so many subs that day that we met the goal. We were at the end of the day we had 70.
That's
Actually
nuts.
69. I got a 70th on Sunday when I did my collab with
Oh,
Tilly.
nice.
But yeah, so that was what happened Friday. So now on Friday, this
Yeah.
Friday, we have I don't have the little announcement thing in this um
Oh, yeah.
page right now, but I have on Friday anyway. I have on Friday a a stream where we're going to be doing the straightening and braiding for on St. Patrick's Day. So 8 p.m. Central, that will be happening on Friday on
Does
this
that
channel.
include your beard?
So everybody wants me
Braid
to
the
straight.
beard.
Everybody wants the beard to be straightened too, but like
Yeah.
doesn't. I'm afraid it's very frail. I'm afraid to just burn it off.
No, it might fall right off.
So
Yeah.
braiding maybe, but probably not any sort of straightener
No,
situation.
I really feel like it really will just completely come off if you try to
That's I right. That's a legitimate concern. So I don't think that will be happening. But oh, somebody's cat's
Yep.
upset.
Swarley's here. We showed up. I got this shirt for free on my last day in Florida.
What? Oh, because of you did a bunch of St. Patrick's Day stuff. That's right.
Yeah. Right before we left, we impromptu got one more shot. Um I was no, this was later. So we bought a shot and we went up to the bar to order it, and we were getting pickleback shots.
Okay.
And the people we were with knew the bartenders and the people who own it. And so when the bartenders came up and was just chatting with us, and he's like, "Did you guys get a shirt?" We're like, "No." And he's like, "Oh, I only have like a few left." And he only had like 3 left. He had one small.
Oh my
It was
god.
amazing.
That is
It was
amazing.
fantastic. So I threw it on over my slancha shirt, and then we went to the next place, and I was like, you know what? Me and the 2 other girls, I'm gonna buy the 3 of us a shot because this girl's been buying us drinks all week. I'm broke, so let's just do a girls shot. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, they're like, all right, group, who wants a shot? And I was like, this is not what I had
This is not.
signed up for.
Yeah.
Yep. But it was the last drink before we left, so it was fine.
Yeah. Turned out okay. All right. Well, good. That's funny.
COVID's still hanging out in my throat.
Hear that. I had a situation. It was while Pesky was streaming the other day where I sneezed, and I usually have 2 sneezes. So I
Mm-hmm.
sneezed, and then I proceeded to choke on the phlegm in my throat, and then I sneezed
Awesome.
again, and then
That's
my throat was
horrible.
just on fire for the rest of the evening. So that was a great
And
time.
that doesn't go away. That
It
just
didn't.
sticks. It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
sucks.
that was yesterday, and I still
Yeah.
kind of feel it today a little bit. So
When we were in Florida, Cody's aunt is a personal trainer, so she had us do a workout one day. She planned one for us. It was
yeah.
very difficult, and she was like, "Well, I have this thing called nighttime recovery, so you are less sore the next day." I guess it helps for. I don't know. I'm not gonna
Okay.
pretend like I know. Anyway, she was like, "Here, before bed, she gave us 2. She's like, I usually take 2, so I took it out. She's like, "Oh yeah, they're horse pills. She forgot to tell me this." And I'm like,
Yeah, you can't take pills. I do know that about you.
No, no. Okay, so I guess we're gonna eventually get into the topic here, but briefly, got a nickel stuck in my esophagus when I was 8.
Mm-hmm.
So like now I'm terrified of swallowing any pills. And I was
Right.
like, okay, well this is bigger than a nickel. So like theoretically this actually could get stuck in my esophagus. So she was like, well, I have a pill cutter, so I cut it in half. And evidently that was not enough. This was a big pill, so I cut it in half and I tried to swallow one, and I like choke it up, and I'm like, sorry.
Sorry, I forgot to tell you.
I
I can't
tried to
do
do
that.
it again, and I turn it. I just like spit it out on the floor, and I'm like, I think
Oh
I'm gonna go in the
Lord.
other room to try to take this. And then my throat was sore the rest of the night.
But you did get it down eventually. Is the
No.
and oh, you never actually okay, after all that.
Pieces of it. But then finally they just looked at like, and I was trying to crush it, it just wasn't crushing well. So I just had like a dusty pile of these pills in front of me, and I was like, this is not gonna happen.
Well,
Yeah,
so much for that, I guess. So it didn't help is
yeah.
what I'm hearing.
No,
All
I
right.
was very, very sore.
Hmm.
But so were people who took nighttime recovery, so I'm skeptical.
Yeah, if any of it worked.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did Cody try it? Minnesota mom's looking wondering.
I think he did. I think he took some, but not the full dose that he was supposed to for his weight. So,
Okay. Okay.
and he was very sore. So I don't know. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think any of us that were sore took it. I think just Sarah. And I
Oh.
think she was fine. So maybe I'm wrong.
Ooh.
I
Ooh.
might be wrong. But also, she's a personal trainer. So, like, maybe she's just in
Maybe
shape.
she's just in shape, yeah. The world may
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah. I was not.
The last thing I'll ask you before we get into the topic today is you're doing
Mhm.
some live shows, I heard.
Yes. That's where you heard through the grapevine
I did, yeah. There's a little if you
when
go
I sent
to
you the
your
poster and said, how'd this look?
if you go to your bottom right on this side, you'll or maybe it's your left. There's a little poster below you in the stream.
Oh, that's nice.
Other side.
Like right there.
Sorry, other side.
I don't
There
know
you go.
my left and my right. So
Well, it's backwards anyway. So right below you there is her Sydney session promo
yes.
thing. So when is that? Sundays?
Sundays at 5 p.m. Central.
Perfect. 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 I'm trying to find where that is on my thing so I can make it bigger for a second, but I can't find it. There it is. Oh, you just disappeared. That's not good. We lost Katie for a second. So while she's doing that, I'll make this big. And it's behind her too. Shit. Oh, she's coming back. Don't worry. Don't worry. While she's gone, here's her promo. Put it right where she was. So yeah, on either her Facebook or her Instagram, you'll be able to listen to her sing live and send requests on what songs you want to hear. So I'm gonna click return. Anyway, so yeah, make sure to tune in for those. They're gonna be 5 p.m. Central Time on Sundays. I do know all this info. I just wanted to make her say it. So make sure to tune in for that. Her Instagram handle is there, but it's Miss Katie Ray, and then her Facebook page is Katie Ray Music. So make sure to tune in for that. I'll make that small again, so when she comes back, ready to go. Yeah. So until she gets back, I can kind of talk about what we're going to do today. So today we are going to talk about some. Oh yeah, the laptop shut off that she was using. So that's what's happening with her. So that's great. So watch. It looks like she's starting to come back now. So anyway, the topic of today is we are going to. Good time for a scare. Good time for a scare. I missed who did that. Was it Pesky Peeves? It must have been Pesky Peeves. We were going to discuss some of the Am I the Asshole? Oh, hold on. Let me put you back in the stream. Oh, wait. I hid your thing. There you go. You're back now. Oh, you're quiet. I hear you, but you're quiet. Are you quiet? You're very quiet.
We really can't catch a break today.
No, we really can't. Is it using? It sounds like it's using the wrong mic.
Oh, that's very possible. Let me try.
Anyway, I was just describing that we're going to be discussing some. Yep, Pesky used her sub only jump scare, so nice job, Pesky.
Oh God,
Um,
is that better?
no, it didn't change at all.
Well, it's on this
It
microphone.
is on that microphone. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're just quiet. I'll just
Turning up
turn you
my
up.
gain.
Oh,
We'll
there
see
you
if
go.
that
There you go.
helps.
You're good now.
Is
Yep.
that good? Okay.
Yep. You might have bumped it down when you were.
Sorry about that.
You're good. Um. Um.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Sorry.
His laptop just, I was in the middle of talking and it just
Was it the battery
shuts
dying or
down.
something, or was it just?
Well, it's plugged in, so
That's bizarre.
no idea.
There we go. Okay. Anyway, I was just about to
Oof,
just explain what we were doing today. I already gave a shout out to your streams, so that's done. I finished that for you.
thank you.
So
I
I was going to
prefer
describe.
that anyway.
We pull a couple stories from the. I know I wanted to make you do it, but so we each pulled a few stories from the "Am I the Asshole" subreddit, which is where people post stories of a situation they have come across or are currently in, and trying to get the world to kind of comment on the fact on whether or not it's their fault. Are they the asshole, or are they in the right on what they did in the situation?
I recently learned that there is also an option for everyone sucks.
Yeah, that can be
I
a
didn't
solution
know
that
about that
everyone
one.
involved
Just
sucks.
literally every single person here is horrible.
Okay, thank you, old pain. Apparently, I am the asshole. Always is that the
Oh,
thought?
you are just in general.
Just in general.
I think
Cool.
you just wanted to use the money signs and zeros.
Got you. Got you. Um, you can swear in my stream. You know, I did mark it as mature, but anyway, um, I did not
We
do
are. I mean,
that. Do you want to approach one of the stories you have first, or would you like me to bring up one of mine?
it doesn't really matter. I feel like I had one that I thought was a good conversational one that's not too controversial.
Okay,
That might be a good starter. Um,
cool,
and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it.
great.
So wait, where did it go? Here it is. Okay. And people have decided already, but I don't know if I agree
So that's the other
with
problem with these
the
stories is
decision.
there's a consensus usually already by the time you get to it. So it's come. Okay, so go ahead.
And
Go ahead.
I'm not so sure. So the title is Am I the asshole for saying it's my wife's fault that my slacks didn't get packed for my work trip?
Okay.
Okay. And I feel like this might happen to you at some point. That's
Yeah,
why I kind of wanted to bring this one up.
that's entirely possible.
Hi. He's a first time poster. He felt like he needed to share that with us.
Long time reader, first time poster.
Yeah. My wife and I have been married for about 7 years now. Did you write that? Just kidding.
Shh.
You've only been married for 6, 5.5.
Oh, is it?
I
I thought it
decided
was
to
seven. I'm just
close.
kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Feels like 7.
Oh, go ahead.
It's like 6 months longer than an Okay, that's not true. I decided to go on a last minute work trip, which caused me to have to book flights and everything late at night and then fly out the next day. I needed new work slacks for the trip since I've primarily been working from home in my current company. So we had to make a late night run to the local Walmart to get a few pairs. We also got some button up shirts. When we got home, I had some stuff to finish up with the planning, so I asked my wife to wash my new clothes so that my shirts weren't so wrinkly. I handed her the shirts to wash separately and put the pants in the dirty laundry. While they washed, she packed my suitcase and then added the shirts when they were done. When it came time to leave, I verified everything was packed by asking her if she packed my pants. She said yes. Cue to late the next night when I arrive at my hotel and my slacks aren't in there, only my brown khakis and gray khakis. I called her pretty upset asking where my slacks were. She got defensive and told me she thought she packed all my clothes. I had laid them out on the bed besides the stuff to be washed and told me they should be in there. I made her check the laundry room to be sure and looked around the whole house before finding them in the laundry basket unwashed. I repeated a few times how I was frustrated that she hadn't packed them, but had told me that she did. She said she didn't realize by pants I meant my slacks, and that she was busy trying to do other stuff and just had a memory of packing some pants with all the other things I had laid out. She also said it was unreasonable for me to be upset with her when they are my pants, and she didn't think she was expected to do a whole second load of laundry at midnight. In the end, she attempted to make me feel better by saying that it would be okay and my work would understand that sometimes things get a bit hectic with packing and traveling last minute. I feel kind of bad because I told her she was frustrated with me for blaming her, but in my defense, I did ask her if she had packed everything. Listen.
Go ahead, give your
People
thoughts
think he's
first.
the asshole. People think, I'm just gonna say up front, people think he's the asshole for being mad at his wife that she didn't pack his stuff.
Okay.
But like he asked her, you know, and like
Right.
he said, "Can you do this?" And she said she would do it. And at that point, like you start to pass the responsibility,
Yep.
right? He
Yep.
didn't tell her to do it. He didn't just silently expect her to do. To be fair, he just threw them in the laundry basket instead of like he handed her the shirts but threw the pants in the laundry. That's a little weird, you know?
Yep. I'm with
But
you there.
like somebody says that they're going to do it and that they did it and you have a right to rely on that. I really don't think he's being an asshole.
I think I'm with you. I think I'm with you on that. And the funny thing about this as well is this is 100% something that would happen to me. This
Yes.
is Brittany and I. Every single argument, Pesky. Sorry, whoever's watching this, whether you're on Twitch or real life, Pesky slash Brittany. Which somebody online thought that they were two different people at one point. It's a different story, but
That's funny. That's
yeah.
really funny.
Anyway, this is probably an argument that we have constantly of like she says something and I misunderstand it, like the
Yeah.
miscommunication of
Mm,
yes like we'll use this example, yes I washed your pants. I go and there is a pair of pants, but it is not the pants I meant,
is
and
not the pair. Yeah.
whether or not I was clear enough in what I explained versus how she interpreted it and vice versa. So anyway, it's a
Yeah.
very common argument, I believe, among couples, I think in general, but
Yeah.
specifically with us, that's what 90% of our conversations are is I said this, you heard that.
Yeah.
And so I won't say it's his fault, but I will also say that 7 years is longer than Brittany and I have been married, and
Yeah.
I have already learned to just double check regardless of what she tells me.
Yeah.
Because
But
if it's that important, you're
yeah.
gonna and the only reason I'm taking this side is because you have the other side, and I do agree with you, but I want to also be devil's advocate here, and
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
point of view of the people who think it's his fault, if it really is that important, you probably should double check. Even
Yeah.
just to
It's just a
be
hectic situation though, you
that's
know?
why I triple check when I pack every time the
Yeah.
important things. I don't check everything, but I check, my contacts, my glasses, my whatever, that kind of whatever I can't go without, I double check.
But I feel like in a normal trip that would be fair. But I
Right.
feel like when you know that it's like but also that's maybe why he should be more understanding because like there was a lot of
Well,
last
right.
minute.
And I think they I think he has a right to be upset about it for sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he has to be just as mad as himself for not double
Yeah.
checking if he knew it was that important to,
Yep.
But I also can understand, yeah, she definitely should have done it. But there was, again, it was just a miscommunication. It's nobody's fault, I feel like, at the end of the day.
I also feel like
Neither are assholes. Is that a possibility?
maybe maybe she doesn't know the difference between slacks and khakis, but like you just went and bought these pants with him, and then the pants you packed were not those pants. Was that not a red flag for you?
So wait, he hasn't worn these pants yet. Am I
No.
understanding that right? So then
No, he
why?
just thought they were wrinkly. So he wanted to throw them in like
But then
so I
iron
don't know
them.
why he
Why do you have
threw
to
them in the
wash
dirty.
them? That's the part I'm trying
I
to.
guess because it's faster. Cody, when he doesn't have time to iron, he throws his stuff in the dryer with a wet washcloth, and it kind of gets some of the wrinkles out.
Okay.
So
Okay.
maybe,
Yeah.
but I also feel like it would have been faster for her to just. I don't know why he wanted to wash them. I feel like he's being a little bougie there, and that's not necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. And now I know a lot of people say that you should wash all your clothes after you buy them before you wear them. That's a thing because the
Yeah,
irritants
but this
that are in it from the factory or what have you are supposed to wash off or whatever. Blah blah blah.
this
But at
feels like a
this,
special circumstance at
I
this point, where
I
like you
feel
don't need to
like
wash them.
instead of throwing them in the hamper, either iron them and then pack them, or iron them when you
Or
get to the hotel. Like that's every
yeah, no,
hotel
literally,
has an
there's gonna
ironing
be an
board,
ironing. If he has time to go get pants in the morning, possibly you have time to iron your pants. Like I don't
right? And maybe he
totally
wanted to wash them because it's a new pair of pants, and I can understand that as well. But
understand.
then why wouldn't she understand that's a pants he meant? I guess that's the other part of it. So
That
it's
was
not
that was weird. I was like, neither of these pants are the black slacks you just bought, and that didn't seem weird
right.
to you. But
I think
the
the
problem I have
go ahead.
is the people calling him an asshole say things like the top comment, which is, "You're the asshole. You're a grown adult and should be doing your own packing and laundry. It's your responsibility to check that all the items are in the suitcase before leaving."
Right.
And while that is basically true, you asked another person and they agreed.
You have a basic when you're married, you have a basic trust between each other. And yes,
Yeah.
yes, there's a lot of things you should be an independent adult. That's true. But when you're married, you're kind of a partnership and you rely on each other. So there are going to
Yeah.
things that you help your partner with, or vice versa, you trust your partner with too, in order to just get through the life. You're a team. That's a good way to put it, Mom.
Yeah.
And so that's why this happened, is that he put his faith in her for this task and it didn't happen. Now, is it the end
Yeah.
of the world? Can he not run to a 24-hour Walmart and get a new pair of pants? I feel like at the end of the day, it's going to be fine. This isn't life
It's
and
a
death we're
last minute
talking
work
about.
trip. Like, wear
Yeah.
your brown khakis.
In
You're
the
fine.
grand scheme of things, he's going to be fine. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah. I do feel like if I came home from work having not talked to Cody all day, assuming I had a job, and dinner wasn't on the table when I knew he was home all day, I wouldn't be upset. But if I had called Cody on the way home
Yeah.
and said, "Would you be able to start making dinner?" and he said yes, and I got home and there wasn't dinner, then I would be upset. Not because the man didn't make me dinner, because we had a situation. And yeah.
That actually is an argument Brittany and I have had before, where not necessarily an argument, but like I'm just
Yeah, yeah,
frustrated.
no, I know.
It's not. I
Yeah.
wouldn't call it an argument. I'm frustrated, and there's nothing
Hmm.
to discuss. I'm just frustrated.
Yeah.
Um, we discussed before I leave work that or during the day we talk about what we're gonna have for dinner, and I'm like, cool. Here's about the time when we leaving. Blah blah blah. I get home and she has just started dinner, and I was like, I told you, and I believe you. And she was like, well, I didn't want it to get cold, and I was like, but you knew, like, you could have started it before I got here, because now I got to wait an hour or whatever before it's ready.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can make it myself at this point, you know what I mean? So
That does sound more like the arguments that we have as well.
yeah, yeah, and it's not necessarily an argument.
Yeah.
It's just I'm frustrated with the
Just
situation. And
frustration.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still grateful you're making me dinner. At the end of the day,
Yes.
I feel bad for being angry because you're making me food. I should just
I
be
know, right?
grateful, you
That's
know?
like
That's
I'm so frustrated with you. And the more I try not to be frustrated with you, the more frustrated I'm getting.
exactly. And being
Yeah.
hangry is also a big part of it,
Yeah.
Mom. So,
Yep.
but yeah, so I think there's not a whole lot of uh discussion in the chat about it, but I think the general consensus is it's, he has a right to be frustrated about it. I think at the end of
Yeah.
the day is what our chat is ending with.
I mean, he's not
Let me know
saying
in the
he like,
comments on the YouTube video that this posts
yeah.
later
What do you think?
if you agree or disagree.
Yep.
Maybe we'll do a follow-up if there's a lot of discourse.
That would be kind of fun.
We also, as long as I'm on the subject, do have 2 viewers on YouTube, so welcome those who are on YouTube.
Welcome.
Feel free to say hi in the
Welcome,
chat
YouTube
so that we
friends.
know you're here, and follow us if you want to catch the next one. All right. I will jump in and do one. Now, I have one
Yeah, go
that's
for
been
it.
really popular on Reddit, and if you've already heard it, I don't want to go through it. So let me just give you the
Yeah, give me the
it's
little
about
tagline.
the title is, am I the asshole for not taking down my video that was a gift from my best man?
I have not read this
Okay,
one.
so a bunch of different
Okay.
podcasters on TikTok have been doing this. So
Okay. Okay.
so I'm sure some people may have heard this before. So you're gonna love this. Very good. I'm gonna
I'm ready. I'm
block your
ready.
face for a second so I can read this without having to turn my head. All right.
It's what you've been wanting to do the whole time. I
Yeah,
know.
right. Yeah. Actually, that's a lie. I can see you in my stream preview over there. I just realized. I have a sister that's 6 years older than me. My parents for years
You
canceled.
said sister, and I was immediately like, what's this gonna be? Go
My
ahead.
parents for years cancel on me last minute because of my sister. I have a basketball game. Oops, sorry, sister doesn't feel like going out. I am graduating. Oops, sorry, sister had a bad day at work. They have missed both major and smaller events in my life because of her meltdowns. I met the love of my
Sorry, is this
life.
the parents that we're talking about?
Yes, the parents have missed
Okay.
stuff because the
Sorry.
sister has excuses of things that she is having issues with, and they go be with her instead.
I'm not gonna interrupt you anymore.
No, you're fine. I met the love of my life. We decided to tie the knot. From the beginning, I told my parents how I am worried my sister will ruin another special moment in my life. My mom told me over and over again it would not happen. The day of my wedding, I received a voicemail from my mom saying they couldn't come because my sister's dog was sick and she was upset. I was hurt. My best man, however, is a jokester. He took my phone and then went to my fiance and asked if he could post a video of our wedding as a gift on social media. She loved his idea. I had no idea about it until I came home. Our honeymoon was at a lakeside cabin with no cell service. The post
Oh
caption
no.
was, "My best friend. He is an amazing person, even if his parents never showed up for him." The video was still pictures of us next to her parents, me on the dance floor cutting the cake, places where you would normally see both parents in wedding pictures. The sound behind the video was my mom's voicemail explaining how they couldn't come because my sister's dog was sick.
That's good.
I came home a week later to hundreds of messages, family members from both sides insisting I take it down. I was told my sister hadn't stopped crying. My mom is refusing to leave the house. I may be the asshole here. I didn't take it down when I got my messages. I didn't call my family back right away. I waited until my vacation time was over at work
Yeah.
and enjoyed my time with my wife in our new home before I contacted anyone. My dad told me to take down the video. It was just a bad night for them, that they will make it up to me and my wife for not coming. My reply was exactly, "How do you plan to make up my wedding? It's a once in a lifetime thing. You choose to ignore my feelings on the whole matter." Then he just repeated himself to make it up to me, that he would make it up to me. I told him I would take down the video only when he made up missing my wedding. Flustered, we both hung up the phone before we both said things we shouldn't have. Am I the asshole here? I could have just taken down the video.
That's so funny.
So that's, yeah, as Pesky said, I read this one on TikTok. Yeah, this is a very popular one for people to discuss on podcasts on TikTok. So, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I I enjoy being petty, so I don't think he's being an I also don't think I definitely don't think he was an asshole for not taking it down before he gets back from his vacation. Like,
Well, and I think the argument is he had cell service. They were home from vacation. He just
and then
wasn't.
yeah,
He was still on PTO from work. They had a couple days in their new house to
yeah.
kind of enjoy each other, and in that time, he could have easily called people, took it down, done it something. But instead, he took an extra few days and then called people back, or like called his dad or whatever.
No, I mean that's like to put the voicemail as the background is kind of
Hmm.
like okay, but also why would you miss the wedding? Like that's yeah,
Well, the what
exactly. Like they are also assholes for not being how do you just miss you don't just miss a wedding.
that's the thing. It's a wedding. Like if it was anything else, if it was,
Yeah.
you know, some not a pinnacle moment in your life, not just for you,
Mm-hmm.
but for you as a couple. Like, yeah, it
Yeah.
that's the thing, and the consensus online is that he's not the asshole. Obviously,
He also didn't post the video. Like
that's the other.
it's
So
not like
that's the
he
other part of
made
it.
it and
He didn't.
posted it.
Yep, he didn't make the video. That was the other part of it that people are pointing out.
Yeah, it's time to be real. Sorry, I have to post.
Somebody said, not only would I leave it up, but I would start a YouTube channel and add it as my first video.
That's me.
It is time
See,
to be
then
real. I
you'd be
didn't
an
see that till
asshole. Would you be a justified asshole? Maybe,
maybe.
but
Yeah. My time for be real.
I just did it.
Oh, dang it. I moved too fast. Anyway,
Oh no, you
I
can
don't know
redo
if there's
that.
much discussion here. I just wanted to bring it up because
No,
it's
that is
a
that. No, that's a good one because like, would I have asked him to take it down? Probably. Like, I probably would have been like, "Hey, maybe too far."
yeah.
But also, like, I wouldn't forgive my parents for not being at my wedding
Well, here's the
at
funny
any
part too
point.
is that why are they so upset about it? If they why would they leave that if you're gonna leave a voicemail like that and you don't want people to hear it, maybe just don't leave a voicemail like that.
Yeah,
That's the
that's
other thing. You're
also
telling your child in a voicemail that you're not coming to
that
the
you're not going to be
wedding.
at the
That's
wedding.
the other
Yeah.
part too. It's in a voicemail of all places to do that.
Like,
I don't know, man.
let's say it was my wedding day and your dog was sick.
Right.
If you missed my wedding because your dog was sick, I wouldn't automatically be like, you're an asshole. But if
Sure.
mom and dad were like, his dog's sick, so we're also going to stay home
That's
with Sean, I'd be like, what?
right. Right. That
Like, it's not your dog.
yep. Yep.
Because, like, dogs are important. Don't get, like,
The
that's a
sister
different,
not coming is a problem in itself, but it's understandable at some way. Like that'd be a different conversation.
yeah, put yourself in the shoes of the mom and daughter who love the daughter more.
That's what
I know, it must have been really hard for them.
like if Charlie the guinea pig died the day of your wedding and mom, dad, and I all stayed home.
Yeah, I just if you and Brittany like that, I would not be happy, but I'd be like, this is just shitty timing. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
because like we've lost pets, and I'm like, I don't want to do anything when I lose a pet, but like
yep,
this isn't your pet.
yep.
And he's also sick. He didn't die.
Right. That's the other thing.
It's weird.
That's the part. You're
Weird.
right. That's true. I keep thinking, yeah, he died. No, he didn't even die. He's just sick.
Yeah, I don't know. We never know what happened to the dog. They never say.
Probably didn't
Which
die.
it's
Otherwise, I
not
feel like he would have
important, but
brought
he's
that up.
probably
But
fine. I don't know.
yeah, I don't
I
know.
don't know. It kind of sounds like they suck.
That's what.
Also,
That's
I think that best friend's pretty awesome for
yeah.
making that video and posting it.
Yeah, I can totally see the kind of guy that did that too. It's like
Oh yeah,
yeah. And everybody's like, that's the best man's job to make the groom feel better, and he definitely did it or
yeah.
whatever. Like that's the
He
other.
he did it. Yeah, there is probably more to the
Yeah.
parents' whole situation.
Well, there's clearly stuff going on. It's just and that's the best part. No, I shouldn't say the best part. That's tricky part with these stories is that we're getting one side of the story. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but I feel like the parents have more going on than even he knows probably of
yeah.
why they're doing all this shit. So, I mean, the video's not nice. I wouldn't have made it. I probably wouldn't have posted it, but like that's funny.
I mean,
And it's hard to feel bad for them when
I feel like it's just desserts. I really feel like it's just desserts. But
he thinks the dad made the dog sick. Here's some chocolate. I
did it on
really don't
purpose.
want to
I
go to my
really
son's
don't want to
wedding
go to this wedding.
tomorrow.
Real bad.
Get me out of this, bud.
Yep.
Good lord. That's so. There are a lot of wedding ones in the thread too.
There's a lot
It's
of wedding
very
ones.
interesting.
The ones I have trouble finding are ones where the general consensus is, no, you're the asshole. What do you mean? Like they describe
And it's harder.
they describe their point of view, and everyone's like, no, you're in the wrong here, but
Yeah. But I love when that happens. And also, I feel like those are the more controversial ones.
that's true.
I
And
think
I
when the
did try
person's
to
posting,
find controversial ones, but they're hard. They're hard to find.
they are because people post the stories and the way they word it favors their side. So then you're like,
Right.
oh yeah,
And
like
again, it's because we're seeing
whoa.
one side of the story, I think, and that's
That actually does remind me of one where like there's not a ton of discussion to be had on it because it's very clear
yep.
what side it's on. But she leaves details out. It's one of the ones I saved.
Mm-hmm.
She leaves details out of the original post, so you have to go read the comments to
Okay.
get more context. And it's like, why would you have left these details out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you knew that it would make you look bad. I've seen posts like that too.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
I heard about one where I'm not gonna remember the details, but essentially somebody who was part of the situation found it and was in the comments basically pointing out all the stuff that they didn't mention and all this shit, like
That's
the
so
drama of
funny.
the drama. Yeah. That's
That's
why this
amazing.
subreddit is so popular. People just love eating up other people's drama, you
The drama.
know.
It's amazing.
Yeah. But that's that one.
That's so good.
Did
Okay.
you want to bring up another one? Hey, what's up, Radical? Thanks for hopping in.
Hello, welcome.
Pesky, you want to give a shout out to Radical for me?
Okay.
Thank you, Pesky.
Well, I guess I'll read that one I was just talking about then, if that's cool.
Go, yeah, do it.
I'm gonna have to find the comments too because it's interesting. Okay. So it says, am I the asshole for posting pictures of my baby shower on social media?
Okay.
Me and my sister were there, 6-year difference. Were pregnant around the same time. Her baby was due a month after mine. Unfortunately, my sister and brother-in-law were in a tragic accident a few months ago, and she lost the baby. My baby shower was last week. It was just at my house with a few friends and relatives. I did tell my sister I was having the baby shower, and she's welcome to attend if she wishes, but I completely understand if she can't. She said thanks and didn't end up coming. Afterwards, I posted photos on social media. Only two, one with all my friends and one with me, my husband, and 3-year-old. I had the caption, Growing Our Beautiful Family. My sister sent me a text about the photos and caption. I replied, I'm sorry, but I told her before I was having the baby shower. She said having it is fine, but she got upset at me for flaunting it. Again, I said sorry she feels this way, but I do want to share my news too. My mom saw the post and said I should be more understanding of my sister's situation. My husband thinks I'm fine, and it's literally just a photo. Am I the asshole?
Okay.
So that alone, I would like to hear your thoughts on.
I yeah. This one hits home because Pesky and I've been in that
Mm-hmm.
situation where we've been trying to have kids for a long time, and other people
Yep.
are all have good news and having kids and announcing pregnancies, whatever. And I mean, her brother is having a kid soon,
Yeah.
like very soon.
Yeah.
And so I can understand how it's difficult in a situation like that, but you can't blame them for being happy
No.
for their own good news. You have to
Yeah.
be happy for them while also mourning your own stuff, you know? So I don't
Mm-hmm.
think it's an asshole move. I don't think he did anything wrong. I feel
Yeah.
like, though, you're about to reveal some information that changes things a bit.
The reason her sister lost her baby was because she and her husband were in a car accident, and her husband died in the car accident where she lost her baby. And then when her sister, when the brother-in-law's funeral was, she skipped her brother-in-law's funeral because she had a dress fitting for her wedding that day. So she didn't go to the funeral. She had the baby shower and flaunted it despite the fact that she lost her baby the same accident she lost her, but left all of that out of the original post.
And also the fact that the wording is our beautiful family.
Yeah.
Like,
And you lost all of this.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Now it seems a little tone
Oh
deaf. Now it
my
seems a little
god.
tone, yeah, yeah.
She
Um,
skipped the funeral.
yeah. Also, I'm good, Radical. Thanks for hanging out. Good to see you. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt your story, so that's why I
No,
didn't.
no, no. Thanks
Um,
for joining.
yeah, that's a very big part of the story.
Oh
Old
my
Pain
gosh.
immediately
Yep.
flipped. Nope, a hole
He's
now.
like,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was because
It's
you read that and you're like, no, that's a toss up. That's a tough one. And then
yeah.
people in the comments are like, you're lying.
Situation aside, just leaving those parts out to make sure you don't look like an asshole is a asshole move on its own.
Yeah, yeah, that's so much worse because then
That's
you're
yeah.
you're lying about it because you know it's bad.
Even if you weren't the asshole
Some
in the first place, now you are.
So I don't know if she posted that extra info in the comments or if this person jumped in and shared that information
So
for
maybe
her.
this is the situation I was kind of a similar to situation
This
I heard about
That's
where
what I'm
somebody
wondering.
discovered the post and said, "Hey, by the way, I'm part of this, and no, you left this important detail out." And I feel like that's the
Yeah.
case about a lot of these stories, that there these details are left out, but they never get found, so we never know, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, we're hearing one side of the coin is the problem. Now,
And she got caught.
what I like is that there's some stories where they're like, "Hey, we're having this argument and we're posting it here so that we can decide who." Like
Yeah.
both
Us
parties know what's
together. Yeah.
happening. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like that's a better
Here's
picture of.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a better picture of or a better well-rounded story to be able to have a
Yeah.
comment on. Yeah,
What I like
but
about some
that's
of the asshole ones too is that they put an edit at the end and they're like, okay, thank you for the comments. This is what I ended up doing. I used
yeah,
some of your like suggestions and
sure,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. There was one
Yep.
of the posts I had actually had a thing at the end where it's like, "Here's all the most common questions and I'm answering them." Like, yeah,
Yep. That's whew. That one was a wild ride though.
that is a wild ride. Now I'm trying to debate on which of my two I want to get to, just in case we don't do both. All right, let's do this one. Let's do this one.
Okay. Those are some good emotes.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I
Just
forgot to add that
admiring
auto
them.
message up.
You have a
Yep,
leprechaun dabbing?
I do. I put that up for St. Patty's Day.
That's incredible.
I'm gonna swap it with a pineapple drinking boba. It's actually this one. After St. Patrick's Day is over.
I love
Uh,
that.
anyway, okay, on to my story. Am I
Yeah,
the
I'm ready.
asshole for not wanting to sell my sister's horse?
Actually, no, you would not be because you would have saved my horse from getting sold. Anyway, okay, tell the
Hmm.
story. Why can't I shut up while you tell the story?
Because you're already got comments and you can't hold it in. You need to know right now.
Okay, okay.
I'm 21 male, sister Layla, 21 female, has owned her horse since she was 7 years old. A little over 3 years ago, my sister had an accident in a sport which landed her in a coma. He says later in the frequently asked questions that it's not related to the horse. It was a different situation.
Okay, that makes a difference.
Yeah, Mom, I knew this would be close to home. That's why I chose this one. Layla's horse is boarded about a 4-hour drive from where I and most of my family live. My older brother Jacob, 29, and his mom live less than an hour away from the stable. The horse is fully trained and Layla used to compete with him. The arrangement has always been that most of the horse's expenses will be paid for by Jacob's mom, or our dad isn't in the picture for any of us, as well as my mom and stepdad. After Layla's accident, Jacob started contributing financially to the horse's needs and even started riding him. Last week, my parents asked if we could have a talk, quote unquote, when I got to my parents' house. My best friend and Layla's long term boyfriend, Thomas, 21, was also there and didn't know why he was called over either. My parents pretty bluntly told the both of us that they were going to sell Layla's horse because it's unlikely that she'll ever wake up again, and it's not reasonable to keep putting money into the animal. I asked if they'd spoken to Jacob or his mom about this, since they're the horse's primary caretakers and put a fair amount of money in as well. My parents said they hadn't spoken to Jacob or his mom, and they shouldn't have to because it's Layla's horse and they're her parents. Thomas disagreed with this and offered to contribute financially to the horse as well as driving up to take care of him. If and when Layla does wake up, she's going to want to know her horse is okay. I agreed with Thomas and put out the same offer. My parents told both of us that we're not thinking clearly, and it's better for everyone if the horse is just sold. This decision didn't sit right with me, so I called Jacob and asked what he thought about the matter. Jacob wants to keep the horse, and so does his mother, and his mom has said that she will fully pay for the horse's expenses by herself if it comes to it.
Jesus.
My parents told Jacob that he just needs to get over it because it's not his choice and hung up on him. Once the call had ended, my parents said that I was completely wrong for calling Jacob for his opinion and that they're disappointed in both Thomas and I for even considering keeping the horse. Both my parents are upset now. They won't answer my calls, and I've also seemed to cut contact with Thomas, who was like a son to them. Am I the asshole for going against my parents on wanting to sell and not wanting to sell my sister's horse and asking my brother his opinion on
No.
it?
That's stupid that you like if the point is that it's like too much money and work that they're putting in,
Yep.
everybody else is willing to do it. You don't have to do it. Why do you need to sell? I don't understand.
Yep. I
It's
think
weird.
personally, I
Weird.
think, and does seem pretty clean cut, so it wasn't a great choice as far as for debate,
Well,
but it
okay,
is
yeah.
the whole situation of having a horse, and I know our family is close with horses, things like that was the reason I brought up. And I mean, there is. Go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
Well, no, I mean, I on some when they were first talking, I was like, I can understand why they want to sell it. Like that makes sense. It's kind of it's not cool to be like she's not going to wake up. But at some point it's like, okay, why are we keeping this? We should have a conversation about whether this is sustainable. So they had the conversation and it seemed like there was a solution other than selling it. And so that's when they lost me. I was like,
Well,
well,
and I think Old Paint's right. I think there is a lot more going on here. One of the
yeah.
frequently asked questions is, where was it? Oh, there we go. As far as I know, my parents are completely fine with money, though it's possible that they're just not telling me. So I mean, it is
Mm,
possible that it's a financial thing where they need the money, maybe
but they
for
don't want to
medical
tell them.
expenses
Yeah,
or what have you.
that's
Um,
true.
and on top of that, if they're trying to let go because they're thinking about pulling the plug or something like that,
That was
this
my thought at first. I was like, well, maybe they're trying to find a way to move forward because even if she does wake up, like, what does her life look like, right?
right, right,
Um,
she won't ride it again probably ever. But at the same time, we can those of us that have had a close relationship. Somebody just scared the crap out of me. Sorry, I couldn't see who it was. My sub scare at that moment was terrible timing.
I was like, "Are you okay?"
I
I was
forgot you
like,
can't hear it, so I was like, anyway, it was pesky. Thanks, pesky, for choosing the worst time to do that.
right when you were deep in thought.
Yeah, it was a very heartfelt moment too. Anyway, we've all had close relationship with horses, or those of us that have, is what I'm
Yeah,
trying to say. Understand that even though she won't ride him again, being able to see him when she wakes up is a big
yeah.
deal. So
Well, no, that's how like our grandma, like she can't ride horses now. She
right.
has a hard time even getting out there to see them, but she like it's important to her to have them. Whether and then you have a conversation about whether it's worth keeping them around just for that, which is what I think the parents like if they were just trying to have a conversation about moving forward, that's fine, but it seems like they were keeping it to a confined conversation and not including all the interested parties.
And they came with a
Weird.
decision already made. They weren't really discussing it. They were basically
Exactly.
informing you, "Hey, we're going to sell
This
this
is what
horse."
we're doing. Yeah.
And I think one of the um sell those horses, Papa said.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing that someone mentions is it possible that one of the things in question is, are the horses being taken care of? Like, if they're not being taken care of properly, maybe that's why they want to sell it. But
Yeah.
the poster's response to that is no, they spend hours with her, sometimes full days, and the people who own the boarding place also take her out and walk her around and stuff and spend time with
Mhm.
her often. So it's not like she's in a situation that she needs to get out of, like the horse. I mean, um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, I think if they were having money problems secretly and were like, we could really use this cash selling the horse,
right, and maybe
that would make that's the only thing that seems to make sense.
right, and maybe they're embarrassed by it, and that's why they're not talking about that.
It's weird. It's
Also,
weird.
the girl has been in a coma for 3 years. If that changes anything,
Well, it depends on who you are. How much is the horse worth?
I mean,
That's
horses are a lot of money. I mean, especially if you're
yeah.
clearly they don't have a farm or anything like that because it's being boarded so far
But yeah,
away.
so that
So
costs
it's
money.
clearly and horses are a fair amount of money, especially to those who don't like have a farm. Um, you know what I mean? Like if they're living modestly and they sell a horse, that's a good amount of money to put towards something
Yeah.
else that you need.
Mom says 3 years is a long time, which is funny because what I was gonna say is someone like mom would be like, "No, you're never giving up." I'm a person in a coma, like, and she's like, "That's a
Well,
long time."
and they are and they're not talking about unplugging her or anything like
No,
that.
no,
It's that's not the conversation, but I'm just making the implication that it partially glue factory prices. Come
I'm
on, old paint.
ignoring that.
um but they're not talking about that. They're just talking about this horse specifically. Even if she does wake up,
Yeah,
what is now the other side of it could be that the parents just don't understand the relationship with horses. They might not be horse people at all.
yeah, which
um
they're probably not.
The other thing that he mentions is that him and Layla are twins, him and his sister.
I was wondering because you said they were both 21, and I was
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
that'd be a quick
Yeah,
turnaround
and she
otherwise.
had been dating her boyfriend Thomas since they were 13 and 14. So basically the same
Oh, so
situation
they know
Pesky
each
and I
other
are
like
in, kind of.
well. Yeah.
So they knew each other
Hmm.
very well, dating for like 8 years, it sounds like. So,
It's weird.
yeah.
It's weird. I think it's a fair conversation to have to be like, we're keeping this horse around for a girl who may not wake up, which feels like a shitty thing to say. But even if she does, like, what are we doing? Like, why are we keeping this? But that's not really what the conversation was. It was, we're gonna sell it because we
S-
want the money.
Somebody made a point in the comments where it says that she got the horse at 7 years old,
Hmm.
and horses live like 25 to 30 years.
Yeah.
So it's been like what's the math on that? 14 years. And if the horse was at
Yeah.
least, bottom line is the horse is probably getting old, and that might be part of it too.
Maybe. But I mean, if it depends on how old the horse was when she got it, because it could still have a decade of life left.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's weird. Stop saying glue, Dad.
Yeah, I don't know
Oh
what
my
I'm very surprised that this is how old paint is seeing that. I did not expect that.
Oh no, I've heard this man make glue factory jokes several times.
All right.
We yeah. I didn't that's how I learned about the glue factories because
Well,
I didn't
right.
get the joke at first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
So that's my story I had.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They sound shady.
There's definitely this is another one where there's definitely more to this that they're not talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured you were joking, old paint.
We know you're not serious.
Yeah, I hope not.
If you were serious, we would
We
probably just ignore your comment.
would be more concerned. Oh,
Okay.
Mom is over on YouTube saying hi. Hello, Mom.
Oh, is she? That's
Yep.
fun.
So we're
Thanks.
on both.
Hmm. Okay. Oh, well. Sorry, I'm trying to
Yep. Totally understand.
pick one. Uh, that one's too deep. This one's too heavy. I'm not gonna do that one. This one's too long. I think I'm gonna do this one.
Okay.
All right. Am I the asshole for naming my daughter the name my sister-in-law wanted?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
23-year-old female, have been married to my husband for 2 years, together since high school. I recently just had a baby. We decided not to tell anyone the name till the baby was born. My sister in law was also pregnant. We both had very similar names in mind. I liked Mary Grace. My sister in law liked the name Mary Kay. My sister in law did choose the name first, but our names weren't identical. My sister in law still insisted I didn't use Mary Grace. We did anyway, and when I announced, my sister in law called us and had a cow. She said we disrespected her knowing she picked the name first, and now she has to choose a new baby name, which she forgot the word name. So she says, choose a new baby on such short. Give me a new baby.
Jeez.
Sorry. We reminded my sister in law that the names aren't identical and there's no reason to change, but she just got upset and hung up. My mother in law soon called us later, backing up my sister in law and saying how childish we acted, keeping it a secret so we could get our way. And sister in law wanted to use that name after her grandmother. They're all pretty upset with us. Am I the asshole?
Hmm. Having knowing that our family was in a similar situation, I think I'd like to hear their thoughts on this. What's up, Toxic? Welcome in.
It's a way to enter.
That's a great entrance.
I guess. Wow. No, she had the baby first. Okay. I think that's fair. I think it's also my only counterpoint to that is she then kept it a secret that she was going to use the name because she knew people would be upset. Like, firstborn gets the name, but her sister said it first, and she's like, actually, I'm going to use a similar one. And then when you say no, I'm just not going to tell you until the baby's born. And that feels kind of sketchy to me. I don't love that.
Pretty good, Toxic. I'm doing good. Thanks for hanging out, man. Um, it's it's interesting because so the firstborn gets the name. That's what mom's status is. But
That's what she has to
see,
tell herself.
yeah, but see, I was
That
born first.
that's such a good point, Sean.
So this is
Because
for
me
those who don't
calling you
know.
Sean,
So let me back up a little bit. This is eerily similar to what happened in our family because what happened in our family, and again, I wasn't there because it's my birth we're
this was a
talking
little
about.
ours was a little less shady than this, but still very
Basic
similar.
basically I was gonna be named Luke when my mother was pregnant and they were coming up with names. And then my aunt, my
But
mom's
she didn't tell
sister,
anybody.
and she didn't tell anybody this. My aunt, who was also pregnant at the same time, announced that they were naming their son Luke, and my mom was, reasonably disappointed, upset, however you want to put it,
Just
and ended up, and then I was born 2 months earlier, but they didn't name me Luke anyway.
didn't steal the name.
They didn't
See,
steal the name.
imagine
They could. This would be an identical situation if I had been
they
named
stole the
Luke
name.
anyway. If they
Mm-hmm.
had, despite them announcing that Luke is the name, they took it, and I
Yep.
think that's an asshole move.
I think that is an asshole move, knowing that it'll upset them and doing it
Mm-hmm.
anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's worth noting that Mary Kay and Mary Grace are different names.
That's fair,
They're not the same name.
but they're both
I
Mary. I can also understand if
I
you.
wonder.
Let me put it this way: if somebody was named, um,
Rachel. Just kidding.
Billy Ray and Billy May, I feel like that's the same name. Like if you're all you're doing is changing the second half of the name, it's still I wouldn't want if I was having a kid and my sibling had a kid whose name was very close to what I was going to name them, I wouldn't want to name them that anymore. It would be too confusing.
Yeah.
So I can
Yeah.
see how it's still basically like stealing a name, because you're
Yeah.
not going to want to do that anymore.
I also think it's weird that like the sister-in-law was naming her after her grandma,
Right.
and she announced it first. And coincidentally, this girl over here was like, actually, I had the exact same name in mind. It's not named after anybody, and I said it after you,
See, and that's,
conveniently.
I think that was the other problem our mom had, was because
Yeah.
she can claim now that they've been talking about it forever,
Yeah.
but there's no proof. For all, if she had decided to steal it, for all that her sister knew, she just decided she liked it and
Yeah.
wanted it now. You know, there's no proof that you
Yeah.
had the idea first. It's like the Chester Cheetah situation with our dad, who claims he invented Chester the Cheetah before the Cheetos came out.
That's exactly what happened.
And so, but there's no proof. That's my point, though, is that
But I do think this poster might be lying. I think Mary Grace and Mary Kay are too similar, and the sister-in-law's has meaning and her doesn't. Like, it just feels like maybe she didn't already have that idea.
right, right, yep. And I can understand why you would think that. What if you picked a name long before the baby came and your sister named a dog that name twice? I'm assuming that the
That's
sister knew you were going to be naming your kid that. Your first mistake was telling your sister, I think, because it sounds like she's a little spiteful.
I just if somebody named their dog that, I would still name my child that. I'm like, my child's gonna outlive your dog for sure, so this is fine. Like,
I
hopefully.
mean,
Nope, moving on.
yeah,
Let's
let's
not
not
get
go there.
dark.
Let's
The
not go
child
there.
is going to outlive the dog.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, I would still name the child that. You could have named me Rachel. You could have named Sean Rachel, but he came out the wrong way.
Yeah, I was going to be named Rachel. I thought. At least that's what I heard.
I did. I liked the name Rachel. And you could have still named me that, but you chose not to, and that's on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way.
They
Pesky
had
and
a
I
dog and
have
named it Rachel. So
Pesky yeah. Pesky and I have names, but we're not telling anyone. Just in okay, we have names for our kids. Yes, we obviously have real names.
so you know.
Oh, I thought you
Then
were
the
just I thought
dog.
you
No, then the dog died. So no, you can't use the name after the dog.
I also was a guy.
No. I think that happened for me. Then because you were a guy, they were going to use it for
Oh.
me, and then
Got it. Okay.
the dog
I mean,
died.
I don't know if I agree
That's
with that.
funny.
That's like I can't name my
A
next
little
dog
weirder.
Woody because my last dog Woody died.
Well, you shouldn't do that.
My Brittany's uncle's dog, he passed and he passed the dog got passed to his brother. But either way, it was Coco 2. There's a Coco 1 and then a Coco 2 right after. Like the same kind of dog, looks the exact same. Kept the same name. Like that's a thing.
Nice. Okay. I have no comment.
That's it? You got no comment?
If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything. You don't reuse the dog names. This was the dog. If you have a kid, actually, there are people out there who have a kid and it dies young, and so they name the next kid the same thing. And I think that's messed up.
I think that's a little weird, yeah.
And it's a little less weird with dogs, but I don't like that. But I do agree with this comment that you wouldn't, because I don't think if one dog dies, you should rename the next dog the same thing. I think that's weird. People can do what they want. I think it's weird. But you could do it for a baby. It's different. You can go cross species, not within the
So
same
I could name my
species.
cat after my dead dog? Is that what you're saying?
Honestly,
If Swarley
yes.
dies,
I'm sticking
if
to it.
Swarley dies, heaven
Oh,
forbid,
you
I'm
can
gonna
never
get a
take that name.
dog and I'm going to
Swarley's not a
name him
cat,
Swarley
though.
2.
Swarley is an all-present being, and so
If I'm naming my next dog Swarley, assuming that Swarley is dead by then.
that's just disrespectful to even assume he's gonna die.
Ever.
No, I tell him regularly that he's living forever.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
there's actually an episode of King of Queens like this where they're over at his parents' house and he has this dog. I think it's like Rusty or something. And he's like, "Yeah, I've had Rusty since I was like 5 years old," and he's like 30 now.
Oh my god.
And
Oh my
she's
gosh.
like, "Honey, if this video of you and Rusty is from when you're like 5 or 10 years old or whatever, and you're now 30, do some math quick." And he was like, "What?" And then he comes downstairs and wakes them all up in the middle of the night. He's like, this isn't Rusty. This is Rusty 2 or whatever. And his dad's like, actually, Rusty 3.
That's
And
funny.
then the one from and then the one like he's like, but last time I was home, and then oh no, and then the most recent one is a girl on top of that too or whatever. He's like, he's like, his
Oh my
dad's like,
god.
she, and he's like, what do you mean she? So anyway,
There's
it's
a
very
an
funny.
episode of, I think it's How I Met Your Mother. I can't remember. I think it's Robin,
Old Pain,
but I
I'll
can't
post
remember
the clip on
specifically.
my Discord. It's very funny.
Where she has a pet that passes away, but instead of telling her that it died, they just get her like a turtle instead and say it's the same. Like he just
Yeah.
changed. This
Yep.
is him now. And so she keeps thinking that it's the same pet, even though they're different animals,
Yep.
different species entirely.
Different everything.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
it's like a Time Lord pet where it just changes
Yeah.
species every time
Exactly.
every
It
time it
regenerates.
dies. It regenerates into a new. Not to get on a tangent, but really quick, I just saw a post. I was rewatching some old YouTube videos of mine,
Hmm.
and I found a post where I had just discovered Doctor Who, and I just
Oh,
think it's
that's
very
fun.
funny. Yeah,
That's awesome.
but
Okay, do you want to finish with one
sure,
or
we
do
can
you
do
want
one
more?
more. We can do one
You had
more.
another one.
This one's not as I don't know. It's not going to be as deep.
Spicy.
It's a very
Okay.
it's very surface level, I think. But
That sounds good.
yeah, it's probably a good thing.
This got more relatable than I expected this to, so
All right. I, male 32, don't have kids of my own, but I am dating my girlfriend, female 35, that has two kids, Anna 15 and Nick 18. My girlfriend, Amy, and I have been together for 12 years, and we have been living together for nearly 9. The kids' father is not in the picture. I have been present in the kids' lives for nearly all their life, but still they think of me like stepdad or even mom's boyfriend. I don't like kids that much either, so I don't mind it and I don't want to be their father. We're comfortable with the way things are. Anna does ice skating and she had a practice for an event that's going to be held soon. Amy and I went to support her. Some other parents were there too. We were sitting and watching the girls skate. Anna comes out and starts doing her routine. We both cheered for her, so another woman asked if she's our kid. I told her that she was not mine, she was actually just my girlfriend's kid. The woman said, "Oh," and nothing else happened. When we got back home, Amy asked to go upstairs to talk. She then told me it was kind of shitty that I what I did and that I could have just said yes. I told her that Anna is not really mine, so I don't think I did anything bad. She's upset with me now. Was I wrong here? I don't hate kids. I don't even hate kids in general. Hate the kids. I don't even hate kids in general. I just don't like the idea of having kids of my own. I do care and love Nick and Anna. When I started dating Amy, she introduced me as Tyler to them, and they just stuck with it. They call me by my name, and that's fine. When either of them introduce me to their friends, they say my mom's boyfriend, not dad. They don't want me to be a dad, and I don't want to either. We're good. I do, however, take care of them because they're kids and they need to be taken care of. I did since I know I've done this since I known them, but that doesn't mean we have to pretend that I'm their dad if neither of us want to.
how old are the kids again?
15 and 18, but they would have been 6 and 9 when he first started dating their mom.
I feel like maybe the kids don't want him to be their dad because it's very clear that he does not want
Yeah,
to be their dad.
that's the
Like,
vibe I'm getting from the way he's writing it too. Like the way he's writing is constantly like, yeah, yep,
mm, it feels like maybe because you entered a 6-year-old's life and never took on the role of being his dad, that at this point you created that.
right,
I don't know. That's weird.
yeah.
I don't like his vibe. I don't like his vibe at
Well, he
all.
just kept saying, "I don't like kids." Like he said it like different times in this thing. He's like, "I don't hate
He's
kids. I just
he's
don't
like,
like kids." I'm like, "What? Okay,
yeah. He's like, I don't want kids. I don't want them to be my kids, but I live with her and I live with them and I take care of them and I do all these things, but I don't want to be their dad. I feel like you and your girlfriend need to sit down and have a little conversation
well, and
because that's not how that's going to work.
the kids are 6 and 9 when you get together. They don't have an opinion at that point what they think of you. It's up to
No, they
you to
follow
be that
your
nurturing
lead.
person. If they are now 9 years later, more than half both their lives, and they decide and they're actively not calling you their stepdad or whatever or dad in general or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
that feels like a choice at that point because of something you did,
But it's
not
like, yeah, you've
because
kept me at arm's length all this time, so sure, that's fine.
yeah,
I don't know. So his attitude, and I guess Old Paint's making a good point. If you're looking at the conversation itself, was he an asshole in that situation itself? Maybe not.
sure,
If they had
yeah,
an understanding that that's how it would be, but I'm wondering if it's as much of an understanding as begrudging acceptance after all these years of you. I don't know.
I
Maybe she
think
thought at some point you'd come around to it or something.
I do
Like,
think it's weird that in that moment, I think maybe she was just having a bad moment and got mad about
yeah,
it. You know, I
yeah,
don't I feel like it's been like that for a while, and the fact that just now it's been an issue is weird.
yeah.
I think there needs to be more discussion of that. It sounds like he
But maybe
won't
he's just
ever say
ignored it.
yeah. He won't just agree that they're my kids. It doesn't sound like he's that kind of
And
person.
well, that's the problem though, is like, what the hell? Old Paint, get out of here. Um that's what's weird is like he makes a point to a random stranger to say that is not my child,
Right.
but it is hers. And it's like if you're making in that random point making that big of a distinction, like you're clearly distancing yourself from it like every day
Yeah.
and that feels weird.
And this is a random stranger. He could have easily brushed it off and said, "Yeah, that's ours," or something like that, and been
Exactly.
done with
Just be
it.
like,
Like
yeah, it's her
he didn't
kid
have
or
to make a
whatever.
big
Like,
deal about it. Yeah.
yeah, it's
And
weird.
I think that's part of the reason I picked this one to save was that this is a situation where yeah, you kind of are the asshole. Like I can see where it's just a throwaway moment and she shouldn't make it a big deal, but at the same time, you also could have
I
just
think you just are an asshole is kind of what it sounds like to me
right. You're
in
not the asshole.
general.
You're just not. It's not this specific situation. It just sounds like overall,
You
you're
are an
kind of an
asshole.
asshole.
Yeah, like
Um,
that's
yeah,
weird.
yeah. That's
Anyway.
that's where my mind went to. Just because the way he keeps talking about
Yeah.
them. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly, mom. That was the point. Is like if for the last 9 years of their lives, you've made it seem to a 6-year-old like you have no interest in fulfilling
yeah,
a fatherly role, and of course they're going to be like, well, yeah, it's not my dad
exactly.
because he made that clear from the get go.
Yep.
Weird. I think he's weird. I don't like him. That's what I've decided.
Yeah, I'm with you. That was my thoughts too. That was my thoughts too.
Yeah.
Well, and I think Pesky's in a situation where she has a stepdad that's been in her life almost her whole life, but not her whole life,
Yep.
and she still sees him as
Yeah.
a. I was hoping she would kind of pipe in on this one, but I don't think I think she might be AFK, but um, she's had a situation with her dad where she's but and the difference is her birth dad's still in the picture.
Yeah.
He there, so she has both that support her all the time, and she sees them both as a father figure in different ways or in different situations or
Right.
whatever. But at the same time, what I find interesting is she does still call him Michael and not Dad a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a
Which is
very
funny because you say her dad a lot of the time.
right,
And so then I have to clarify because she usually says Michael.
right. And when we were dating, she always called him Michael, and I called him Michael just because. And he's called us out a few times on the fact that we call him Michael and not Dad or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a thing. So I don't know. It's just an interesting situation.
And I think maybe the exact label doesn't matter quite
Yeah,
as much
I think you're right.
as the way you treat each other.
Yeah,
And I think there's some kids where when your mom gets a boyfriend, you'd probably be like, well, that's not my dad. It would take a long, long time to ever think of them as a dad, and maybe you don't want them to.
sure,
And that's fine. But if you're the person dating a girl with kids, you're assuming that responsibility. Like I
sure.
think that's just assumed.
Well,
Like
and
you have kids, if we're going to be in a long-term relationship, they are going to be my kids in some way.
sure. And I don't know if this has a lot to do with it, but what I will point out as well is they are dating. Yes, they've been dating for 9 years, but they're not married. It's not like he's a stepdad. He is.
Mhm.
He is. They specifically say my mom's boyfriend. They're not married.
Yeah.
And the difference with Pesky is her parents did get married when she was very young, so he has been an official stepdad for
Yeah.
most of her life. And he didn't adopt them, right? It's not like no,
Adopting I don't think matters though. You don't have to go through all those steps to
right,
actually be the parent though.
right, agreed,
Like
agreed.
some people will, some people won't. I know somebody who was completely entirely raised by her father that wasn't her biological father
Yep,
because they just and he never took the formal steps to adopt her, but like that was her dad.
yep.
It costs money to adopt somebody.
Or it's like, well, and then the same breath, I'm pretty sure our Uncle John officially adopted Keb as her dad. as well.
Yes, yeah.
So it goes
And
both
I think
ways.
for somebody who doesn't have father figures in their life, that does make sense. But also sometimes you just assume that role without going through the formalities. And it's true that it's just boyfriend girlfriend, so that makes sense. But after 9 years, if you never have like this man doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have any intentions of ever being a father to them.
Yep.
He's made that very clear. So after 9 years, like, are you gonna stick around with them? If you're not, you should probably head out. And if you are, you should probably start acting like a stepdad.
Sure.
Because at some point, yeah, you've been dating for 9 years. Or if you're gonna get married, you're gonna be a stepdad. It's not like it's gonna change overnight. Like,
Right.
it's weird. It's weird.
And Pesky makes a good point in the comments. She has a half sister that grew up with her, whose dad is her stepdad. So
Yeah.
that got to be a confusing for them because she
Mm-hmm.
didn't understand that Brittany had a biological dad that wasn't the same dad as her, and that was
Yeah.
a whole discussion they had to have when she was young as well because she just didn't get it,
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I think you can be a stepdad to someone with a biological dad and still fulfill a fatherly role. I think
Mm-hmm.
you can be a stepdad to kids that don't have a dad,
Yep.
never adopt them, and still be that father figure. And sometimes you adopt them, and I think all of those are valid. I think what maybe is not super valid is distancing yourself from your girlfriend's kids for 9 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's
I
weird.
I think we all agree this guy's an asshole, but maybe not necessarily because of what he said, just the way he acts.
No, yeah, that moment, maybe not the asshole, but I think overall he sounds kind of like an
Yes.
asshole.
Yep. Yep. And again, it was just a throwaway situation. He could have easily just said, "Yeah, that's ours" or something like that. But
Maybe
clearly,
we're
he
just
is.
socially
I
awkward
think.
because we just want to limit the correspondence with strangers. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, that's true. I think he's also just in denial that these kids are his responsibility. Like he doesn't want to be a dad, but he likes this girl, so he's like, "I'm
yeah,
gonna stick it out." But these aren't my kids. That's the only way he's gotten through it.
yeah. I would need more information,
More
Old Paint, to
information.
make that decision
I also
because
agree with Old Paint. Maybe he's not an asshole. He just, and I don't even know if I'd say it's strange. I'd say there's something else psychologically there. Maybe he has dad issues that he's not dealing with. That
I would need to hear from the kids and see what their
there's
whole
that too.
vibe is on the
They're old
situation.
enough now that they could easily talk to this and have something.
Yeah,
15 and 18, you're teenagers. You can have thoughtful discussion about what
yeah.
your feelings of the situation are. So I feel like
Well, doesn't want to do that because he doesn't want to be their dad.
right.
You'd have to be a
But
dad
if
to have
we were these
that
random
thoughtful
strangers who read about
conversation.
this, found them and said, "Hey, talk to us about this," they could do that.
Yeah, then I would. Yeah, then they'd be able to do that. You're
But I
absolutely
doubt they
right.
would do
They're probably
that.
on Reddit. They're probably saw it and they're like,
Yeah,
freaking
right.
Tyler, this dumbass.
Tyler. God damn it, Tyler. Get off of Reddit. You're too old for
Get off of
Reddit.
Reddit. You're too old for this.
Tyler, you're 32. Get off of Reddit.
Nobody wants you as their dad, Tyler.
Tyler's also, for some reason, I feel like I can just picture Tyler as being like, "I'm not your dad, I'm Tyler." like Old Paint
No,
said
I
earlier.
can picture exactly what Tyler looks
I'm
like.
Tyler.
I'm Tyler. I'm not your
Wow.
dad. I'm your friend. I'm your bro. Good lord.
Oh, and then there's the glue again, just for full circle. You almost spit. You almost spit.
Because I saw it right when I was. That was my clue.
The
Anyway.
timing was impeccable. All right.
Oh, that was good.
Oh, well, we ended on that. Did you have another one you want to discuss, or you want to call it? We're getting close to an hour and a half here.
I agree with you completely. Toxic. I think that's exactly what I think. I think if you're with someone who has kids, you're their father figure in some aspect of it now, whether you want to be or not.
Right.
That's just what it is. If you
And
don't want to have kids, that's not the woman for you.
well, and he says that in the post. He says, I am obviously going to take care of them, and I do take care of them. They're kids. They need someone to take care of them. But he's acting. But the way he's phrasing it is more of a, these are dogs I'm taking care of because they're my girlfriend's dogs.
No, my girlfriend has dogs and they live in my house, so I feed them.
You could easily just replace this entire story with my girlfriend had 2 dogs when we got together. They're not my dogs, they're her dogs, but I take care of them for her. Like
Yes,
everything
and
up
then if
until
you
the
go on a
end where they're at
walk,
an ice skating thing. Oh yeah, there you go.
Literally, you go on a walk and you're like, those are your dogs. No, they're my girlfriend's dogs.
Right.
That's
That's
that
how
is what it
you
feels
could
like.
easily replace them and just change the situation
Yeah,
to that, and that would be the same thing. Nope, these are my girlfriend's dogs. Oh, okay.
it's weird.
Yep.
But they're, yeah, that's the way he treats it. He's like, they live under my house and they're minors, so they need to be fed and provided with
Which
shelter.
I am
So that's what I
I
do.
am grateful he's taking care of them. There could be a lot worse. He's doing, what he's supposed to as far as
Yes.
that goes. But emotionally, I don't think he's in it.
I think he and his girlfriend need to have a long talk about what they're actually doing.
Yeah.
Because if she
There's
got upset about that, there might be something more of like she's actually upset that he
yeah.
doesn't want to be the father, and then maybe they should talk about that.
Yeah. What up, Ghostly? Thanks for hanging out. How's it going, man?
How's it going?
Yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just want to give.
No, you're fine. No, I just.
But yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Okay.
That was a more thought-provoking one than I thought it would be, honestly.
It was a good one.
Comments on that post. The
Did
general
people think he was an
consensus. I
asshole?
I already closed it, but the general consensus. The top comment was, "You're the asshole. You've been with those kids, you know, 9 years. You could have easily just accepted them as your just said that they were your kids or whatever."
Yeah.
Hold on, let me pull it back up again.
People are really led by emotion on there. Like,
Well, and then the number one
on like
comment
the
under
comments
that
of that.
is, "Okay, calm down." The kid does.
Okay,
The
yeah,
kid doesn't
that's a
even
little.
see him as her dad. It's stated in the post.
But I
So
think that's more complicated. I think he's saying that, and I don't fully trust that.
yeah.
I don't think. I think there's more to the kids too. Anyway.
And then somebody else is like, this could be because of his attitude towards her and his kid and the kids in general. You think?
See,
What
that's what I'm
attitudes? He's
saying.
basically saying he never liked kids enough to want his own. I
He's
guess.
saying a lot of things,
Yeah,
but we're hearing it just.
yeah. So
He's
it
saying he never liked
basically
kids. How do you think the 6-year-old felt about that?
the comments are basically everything we're saying. I mean,
Yeah. I just wouldn't want to hang out with Tyler. That's all I'm. That's really what I got from this.
yeah. And somebody even
Not
points
vibing.
out they were 6 and 9 or whatever.
Yep.
They clearly were young enough. They would have tried to have an attachment with this man, and he didn't. You know, I mean, like,
No, thank you. It's like when people try to be my friend. No, thank you. Just kidding. Just kidding.
that's also a good point. He could have also been like trying to force a relationship with them, and they're like, you're not my dad or whatever. I mean, it could be that.
That, but then the mom probably wouldn't think he's being rude for setting that boundary when a stranger asks him. Like if a
I
stranger
mean,
comes up, if they've set that boundary, then maybe he just wanted to
if the kids
like
set that boundary,
justify
then he's
it.
holding that boundary
Exactly.
that they've already set.
So I
But
don't
at
think
this,
that's
but
what's
at the same
happening.
time, if they're 6 and 9, I feel like that feels too young
To commit to the you're
to
not my
commit to
dad,
that. You're
especially when
not
you
my
don't have a
dad,
dad.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know. And maybe we don't know anything about their birth dad. Maybe there was a traumatic incident that
Yeah.
they did
Yeah.
set that precedent that early because they had that traumatic experience with their birth dad. Maybe we don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
But anyway,
Old Paint says, I make fun of Minnesota mom. I have fun. I don't make fun of Minnesota mom. I have fun with her at her expense. Am I the asshole? It didn't matter what you said before those last 4 words. The answer was going to be
brutal, brutal.
just kidding. Well, this was fun.
Yeah, this is a
I
good
think
one.
this was good.
I liked this. I think discussions, like thought provoking
Yeah,
discussions,
that was
were
good.
was good.
Thank you guys for engaging and
Yep.
joining in the conversation here.
Yep.
Mm.
Let me see. I was hoping somebody was going for Philly. I was live, but I don't see anybody.
While you're doing that,
Yep.
once again, make sure to tune in on Friday to see Shaka get his hair
Oh
braided and
Lord, here we
straightened
go.
and maybe his beard braided. And then follow me at Miss Katie Ray on Instagram, and I'll be going live on Sundays at 5 p.m. Central.
There you go.
Lots of stuff coming up.
Yep. And I posted you all over the Discords and all over social
Thank you.
medias.
On
So
the Discord.
hopefully,
Thank you.
like all these random Discords I'm in, yeah. So
Yeah.
hopefully, we get some people in there. Pesky also streams on Sundays, but unfortunately, since you're on Twitch,
Awesome.
she won't be able to raid out to you, but she'll definitely give you a shout out at the end of her
That's all right.
stream to go check you out when we're done with her stream.
Awesome.
So,
What time does she stream?
uh, it varies, but usually
Okay.
it's usually either in the morning and evening. Now that you have your evening thing, she'll probably do it in the mornings on
Can
Sundays.
work together.
Yeah, there you go. I was gonna say something else. Yeah, braided too. It's gonna be straightened and then braided. Pesky got some little rubber bands to use, so it's gonna be interesting.
So funny.
It's gonna be interesting.
I love it.
And the beard, they're gonna try to do some beard braiding too, so it's gonna be entertaining to say the least. So make sure you tune in, especially those who subscribed and helped us get to that goal. Make sure you come see the fruits of your labor. So.
The fruits of your labor.
And one last thing I'll shout out is on the 25th, Pesky's gonna be doing a subathon where after certain numbers of subs, she'll do things like, for instance, at one point I do her makeup for her without her telling me
Beautiful.
what any of the makeup supplies do. And I believe there's a few other things in there. I have a poster posted everywhere, so just make sure to check that out. So those are the things coming up. Then my next stream will be tomorrow morning playing Hogwarts Legacy at 7 a.m. So I will see you then.
Oof. I'll be driving to class, so I'll see you then as well.
We're gonna raid out my friend Susie, who's gone to Mystic Lake Bingo with us a few times, and it's a good time.
That's fun.
So we're gonna say hi to her. For those of you that are subscribed, please give her this message from me, and if you're not subscribed, you can give her this message from me. And with that, we'll end it here. Everybody have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye,
This has about 10 seconds, but then we're gonna end it. Okay, bye.
guys.